There are 8 people in this room, and every single one of them wants the cat. They are doing all the right things. They are crouching down, they are making the little kissing noise. One of them has produced a slice of ham from somewhere, which feels like cheating, and the cat walks straight past all of them, crosses the entire room, and sits down on the lap of a man who has not looked at it once. He is not even a cat person. He is mid-sentence about a car. Everybody laughs and says the same thing. Animals just love him. The obvious answer is that some people have a way with animals. A calm energy, a gift. That is not what happened. Nothing in that room was choosing anybody. What you just watched was a security check. 7 people failed it, and 1 man passed it without ever knowing he was being tested. Get down onto the floor for a moment, because the floor is where this decision is being made. From 20 centimeters up, that friendly room is not friendly at all. 8 faces, all turned toward you at the same instant. 8 pairs of eyes locked on and not blinking. Bodies leaning in over the top of you. Hands coming down from above, fast and open, reaching for the back of your neck. There is no polite way around this. You have just been described a hunt. Every single ingredient of a warm human greeting, the direct look, the lean, the grab, the high, strange noise, is something that, in almost every other species on this planet, is performed by something that intends to eat you. The friendly people are not being read as friendly. They are being read as 8 predators who have all spotted you at once. And the man talking about his car is doing something remarkable, entirely by accident. He is doing nothing at all. Start with the eyes, because the eyes are very nearly the whole story. A hard, direct, unbroken stare is a threat display across an enormous range of animals. It is how you say, "I have seen you, and I am not looking away." Dogs do it before things escalate. Cats do it before things escalate. Primates do it constantly, which is precisely why the sign at the gorilla enclosure asks you not to stare, which leaves a genuine problem. How do you tell an animal you have noticed it without also threatening it? You break the stare. And there is one specific way of breaking it that cats appear to treat as an actual message. In 2020, a team at the University of Sussex, led by Tasman Humphrey and Karen McComb, tested it properly. Slow blink at a cat, narrow your eyes, hold it, let them close gently, and the cat becomes significantly more likely to slow blink back at you. Then they pushed it further, using experimenters the cats had never met before. A stranger who slow blinked and then offered a flat open hand was approached more often than the very same stranger wearing a neutral face. This is not a folk trick off the internet. It is a measurable difference in whether a cat comes over. Eyes you can control with a bit of practice. The next one you cannot. Dogs know exactly where your attention is pointing. In 2003, Josep Call and his colleagues at the Max Planck Institute put food in front of dogs and forbade them to touch it. Then the human closed their eyes, or turned their back, or walked out of the room. The dogs took the forbidden food far more often when the human's eyes were unavailable. They were not obeying a rule at all. They were watching a pair of eyes and doing arithmetic. Then there is the channel you have no access to whatsoever. In 2018, Biagio Daniello and his colleagues collected sweat from people watching frightening films and separately from people watching cheerful ones. They gave those samples to dogs who had no idea any of this was happening, in a room with a stranger. The dogs given the fear sweat showed more stress behaviors. Their heart rates climbed, and they approached the stranger less. Sit with that one for a second. Your private nervousness about whether the dog is going to like you is leaving your skin as a chemical, and the dog is reading it, and it is making the dog trust you less. Here is the turn. We have been asking the wrong question this entire time. The question was never, why do animals like that man? Nobody in that living room was running a popularity contest. They were running a threat assessment, and a threat assessment has a pass mark and very little else. He was not chosen. He was cleared. He never stared, so there was no threat. He never leaned in, so there was no looming shape. He never reached, so there was no hand descending from the sky. He was not quietly hoping to be liked, so his skin stayed silent. He was, from where the cat was standing, the only object in that room with no alarms attached to it, and an animal will always settle down beside the safest thing available. The people trying hardest were failing hardest, and the harder they tried, the worse they scored. There is exactly one animal on Earth for which this whole rulebook gets torn up. In 2015, Miho Nagasawa and Takafumi Kikusui showed that when a dog and its owner look into each other's eyes, oxytocin rises in both of them, the same loop that runs between a human parent and an infant. Wolves raised by people from birth do not do this. The one species on the planet where staring means love is the species we spent 30,000 years building. Widen it out now, because none of this stops when you leave the room. Horses read your face, and then they file it. In 2016, Amy Smith and Leanne Proops showed horses photographs of human faces, angry or happy, and the angry photographs produced a left-eye gaze bias and a rising heart rate. Fine, they can read an expression. The follow-up study is the one that gets under your skin. In 2018, the same group let horses look at a photograph of a person, and then, hours later, walked that actual person into the room in the flesh, now wearing a completely neutral expression. The horses behaved more negatively toward the people they had once seen looking angry in a picture. They remembered your mood from a photograph, and they held it against you. Then there are the crows, who are frankly just keeping files. John Marsliff's team at the University of Washington wore one particular mask while trapping wild crows, and then walked around the campus in that mask for years afterwards. The crows scolded and mobbed it every time. So did crows that had never been trapped, and crows that had not even been born yet. The grudge was being handed down. One honest note, because it matters. Almost all of this is measured on animals already accustomed to people, and nobody has ever proved that one human being is permanently more likable than another. Perhaps your friend passes the test every single time for the dullest reason available. He behaves the same way every single time. There are far more of these little animal contradictions than you would think, and they get stranger the closer you look. The next time an animal ignores you completely, you will know what has actually taken place. You were assessed in about a second and a half by something reading your eyes and your posture and your chemistry, and you were quietly filed under not worth the risk. And the next time one wanders over and settles beside you, uninvited, for no reason at all, while you are busy thinking about something else entirely, that is a verdict. It is not affection. It is something rarer than affection. You were found to be safe. Every cat on every wall you have ever walked past has looked at you and decided something. So has every dog behind every fence, every horse over every gate, every crow on every lamppost for your entire life. You have been reviewed thousands of times by a jury you never once noticed was there.